Hey guys, Timtra here with another War Thunder video, and with the recent Tokushu Heiki event going on, I figured that this is the perfect time to make a video about why War Thunder's events suck big dicker max. Like all free-to-play games, War Thunder relies on a constant flow of content to keep players engaged and the cash flowing. A common part of the strategy is creating limited time events with some items that can only be obtained from them. Everyone can get some free stuff, but people who really want the items but don't have the time or energy to grind can spend some money in some form or another to get the items faster. As someone who's played a lot of free-to-play games and grinded events in the past, I don't have a problem with this system in practice, but how it's done in War Thunder has two problems. Firstly, they're overcomplicated as hell, and secondly, the amount of grinding people need to do for events is just way too high, and to see this we only need to look at the requirements for the ongoing event. So this event is themed around testing the Ki-148 missile, which is a World War II era experimental radio-controlled missile made by Japan that's actually a pretty interesting piece of technology. Based on the testing mode during this event, I'm not sure how useful it's going to be in practice though, since you have to guide it with your keyboard while flying, but still a very unique piece of equipment to add to the game. Now this event has 4 awards that you can choose from: the Ki-48 Otsu, which carries the actual missile we're testing for 1 test report, and the IGN Kurama, the Lowsat, or the F-100F for 3 test reports each. Luckily, it doesn't seem like any of these award vehicles are really OP, so at least it's not pay to win. But how do you get the test reports that you need to buy these, you may ask? Okay, let me tell you how the event works. Buckle up. First, you have to play matches in whatever mode you like, and for every 2,500 score you get a resource crate. You open these and they drop a bunch of materials that you can then use to craft 12 different parts of the missile, and then when those are done you can craft the actual missile, which takes like an hour and a half. Once the missile is done, you go into this test range, test the missile against the target, and if it's successful you get a target destruction report, which is used to craft the test report. Notice how I said if there, and this is the real cactus in your bum, so to speak. Whether the missile fails or not is predetermined. Before you can get a successful missile, you have to craft 2 failed ones, and that pattern repeats. So in order to get one of the top items that costs 3 test reports, you actually have to craft 9 missiles. It really sucks because like 2/3 of your effort for this event is just wasted. It's artificially inflating the time that you need to spend, and it really just sours the whole thing about figuring out what's wrong with the missile. Instead of just being a fun little challenge to test your knowledge at the end of each cycle, you're encouraged to look up guides to answer correctly, since if you get it right, you get a few more resource boxes. The grind just sucks the soul out of it. Also, in addition to the target destruction report, you need 20 development progress data in order to craft the test report, and you earn one of these every 7,500 points. So that's another layer of grind to add on to the already complex crafting system, but luckily, based on my experience, once you near to getting your 3rd missile, you should have around 20 of these anyway. Okay, now if half of what I just said in the last 2 minutes just went in one ear and out the other, I wouldn't be surprised. Gaijin, seriously, simplify these events, man. In the past, I've just completely ignored them because when I open the event screen, it feels like I'm being asked to decipher ancient Egyptian. The fact that you need to put out a detailed step-by-step guide for your players should tell you that your event design sucks. The sheer amount of grind you need to do is honestly just disrespectful to the player base. Let's do some math. Every day you're capped to earning 10 development progress data and 30 resource boxes. So that means in order to get 2 of the top vehicles, you have to earn 75,000 score per day for 12 days. And the event only lasts 13 days. There are ways of getting this faster since different modes have different point modifiers, but assuming you're playing the game relatively normally, that is a ton of grinding and not a lot of leeway. And you can't even unlock everything. You can only get 2 of the top event vehicles. If you want everything, you're going to need to go to the market and buy components or just buy the vehicles outright. And this just doesn't seem right to me. In my eyes, a good event should just be grindy enough to incentivize people who don't have enough time but want the items to spend their money, but allow the average player to sit down and unlock everything if they grind for an hour or 2 every night, maybe even less. Like, getting 70 to 80% of the way through the event should be attainable with normal levels of play. That way, people willing to put in some extra time can actually get the stuff for free, and everyone else is able to get something from the event. And some people who couldn't finish in time are likely to spend some money to get the rest of the way to the end. When I think of other free-to-play games like this that I've played, like Warframe or Genshin, most of the events only require you to put in like 30 minutes to an hour a day, and then you can usually skip a few days as well. But it just seems like Gaijin wants you to make the game your full-time job while they've got the event running. Now, I'm sure War Thunder has hired some damn social psychologists that have told them that this is the optimal way to drive engagement and instill FOMO to convert free-to-play players into paying customers, but I can't help but feel like if they actually made these events more doable, more people would actually participate. Though the average amount spent per player might go down, just by having more people actually doing it, more would decide to spend money to complete the event. And this applies to the other event types too, like the star events, which are designed so that you have to complete certain challenges within a set time period to get credits towards redeeming a vehicle for the event. Nothing kills my desire to actually do events more than logging in and seeing that I've permanently missed most of my chances to get anything. Likewise, seeing as I've only tested 3 missiles at the time of writing this script and the event is nearly halfway over, I've kind of given up on getting anything other than the low tier plane. This whole thing reminds me of an iconic line from War Games, which is this older movie about some hacker kid that basically almost unleashes Skynet. There's this scene near the end where the computer is going through all the nuclear war scenarios and finally determines that the only winning move is not to play. And I feel like that is super relatable to War Thunder's events, because if you actually have like literally anything going on in your life and don't want to make War Thunder the only thing you do in your free time for like 2 weeks, I feel like caring about the events is just not worth it. Don't be the sucker that Gaijin is looking for, don't bother yourself with it. If Gaijin isn't going to respect your time, you shouldn't waste yours grinding more than you want to. Honestly, that could apply to basically the whole game as well. Anyway, I've fulfilled my monthly quota for hating on this game, so I'll be heading off now. In the next War Thunder video, I'll be taking a look at Naval since I kinda did it dirty in my review, but I'll probably make a quick review of another game before I do that for some variety on the channel. So if you're interested in any of that, maybe give me a sub, and if you enjoyed this video, let me know by leaving a like or a comment. Bye bye.